This is the BYD Seagull, a $12,000 electric vehicle that has American auto executives losing sleep and calling emergency meetings. You can't buy one in the United States, but this small Chinese EV represents the beginning of the end for gasoline cars worldwide. The numbers tell a story that's hard to ignore. In China, you can drive home in a brand new electric car for less than what most Americans pay for a used Honda Civic. The BYD Seagull starts at just $9,500 in its home market, recently dropping to $7,800 with new discounts. The cheapest new car available in America, the Nissan Versa, costs $18,330 and still burns gasoline. Price is just the beginning of this disruption. When Caresoft Global, a respected engineering firm in Michigan, got their hands on a Seagull for teardown analysis, what they found challenged everything they knew about car manufacturing. Terry Wojciechowski, the company's president and a former GM chief engineer with 45 years in the auto business, called the car a clarion call for the U.S. auto industry. The Seagull represents a completely different philosophy of automotive design. American automakers pile on features and complexity, but BYD stripped everything down to essentials without sacrificing quality. The car has just one windshield wiper instead of the traditional two, eliminating an entire motor, arm, and the labor needed to install them. There's no rear wiper at all. These aren't corners cut from desperation, they're calculated decisions that reduce weight, cost, and manufacturing complexity. What's remarkable is that this simplicity doesn't feel cheap. The doors close with a solid thunk. The synthetic leather seats feature stitching that matches the car's bright body color, a detail usually reserved for luxury vehicles. The dashboard design mimics a seagull's wing, complete with a rotatable 10.1-inch touchscreen and a 5-inch digital instrument cluster. 6 airbags, electronic stability control, and an electronic parking brake come standard. The engineering extends far beyond cosmetics. The Seagull's body contains 61% high-strength steel, with key components using hot-forming techniques that achieve tensile strength exceeding 1,500 megapascals. At 2,734 pounds, it weighs 900 pounds less than a Chevrolet Bolt while maintaining structural integrity. The wheelbase-to-length ratio hits 66%, higher than BYD's larger Dolphin model, maximizing interior space in the compact 148-inch package. Performance specs match the thoughtful design. The standard version delivers 305 kilometers of range from a 30 kilowatt-hour battery pack. The long-range variant pushes that to 405 kilometers for just $3,000 more. DC fast charging capability means 0 to 80% in 30 minutes, matching or exceeding many vehicles costing 3 times as much. The man behind this design revolution adds another layer to the story. Wolfgang Egger, the Seagull's lead designer, previously worked at Lamborghini. His involvement earned the little EV the nickname Mini Lamborghini in some circles, though the comparison is about design intelligence rather than flashy styling. BYD's approach to manufacturing explains how they achieve these economics. Traditional automakers source components from hundreds of suppliers, but BYD makes almost everything in-house. Body panels, lights, motors, batteries, power electronics, they control the entire supply chain. This vertical integration eliminates markups and allows for system-wide optimization that external suppliers can't match. The company's journey to this point spans 3 decades. Founded in 1995 as a battery manufacturer, BYD powered Motorola and Nokia smartphones throughout the early 2000s. When they entered automotive in 2003, that battery expertise gave them a foundation that traditional automakers lacked. By 2022, they made a decisive break with the past, stopping all production of pure internal combustion engines. The results speak for themselves. BYD sold 4.27 million electric vehicles in 2024, a 41% increase from the previous year. They've become the world's largest EV manufacturer, surpassing Tesla in total sales. The Seagull alone generated 10,000 orders in its first 24 hours and reached 200,000 units produced within 7 months of launch. In November 2023, it became China's best-selling vehicle across all categories, electric and gasoline combined. American industry leaders are paying attention. Ford CEO Jim Farley called the Seagull pretty damn good, while warning of BYD's competitive advantage. He's so impressed with Chinese EV technology that he drives a Xiaomi SU7 as his personal vehicle, a $30,000 electric sedan with 345 miles of range that he admits he didn't want to give up. Tesla's Elon Musk put it more bluntly, telling analysts that Chinese EVs are so advanced that without trade barriers, they will pretty much demolish most other car companies in the world. This isn't hyperbole from a known provocateur, it's a sober assessment from someone who understands the technology. The broader picture reveals the scale of this challenge. Chinese manufacturers now offer 130 different EV models under $40,000, averaging 239 miles of range. The United States offers just 4 models in that price bracket, with an average range of 169 miles. When you expand to all EVs with over 300 miles of range, China offers 41 models averaging $44,500. America has 19 models averaging $83,100. These aren't just different product strategies, they represent fundamentally different approaches to electrification. American automakers focused on premium EVs with high margins, while Chinese companies targeted mass-market adoption with aggressive pricing and rapid iteration. The American response has been predictably protectionist. The Biden administration imposed 100% tariffs on Chinese EVs, while current tariffs can reach 247.5% when combined with existing duties. There are also bans on importing vehicles with Chinese-made connected car hardware and software, citing national security concerns. Some see this as necessary protection. The Alliance for American Manufacturing calls subsidized Chinese EVs an extinction-level event for the U.S. auto sector. Politicians from both parties have proposed even higher tariffs or outright bans. But history suggests protectionism rarely breeds innovation. When Japanese automakers arrived in the 1980s, critics predicted disaster for American jobs. Instead, companies like Toyota brought manufacturing techniques that improved the entire industry's competitiveness. American workers kept their jobs, domestic companies learned to build better cars, and consumers benefited from more choices at better prices. BYD isn't waiting for American policy to change. They're building manufacturing capacity in Mexico, creating 10,000 jobs and positioning themselves just south of the U.S. border. The company recently shortlisted 3 locations from 20 competing states for their first Mexican factory. When that facility opens, the Seagull could theoretically reach American consumers without the crushing tariffs applied to Chinese imports. The ripple effects extend globally. Chinese automaker market share in Europe jumped 99% in a single year, reaching 6.1% despite 35.3% tariffs. Traditional European manufacturers are struggling to compete on both price and technology. Even Warren Buffett, who invested $230 million in BYD in 2008 and watched it grow 20-fold, recently sold his entire stake. His longtime partner Charlie Munger once called BYD's founder a combination of Thomas Edison and Jack Welch. The exit after 17 years suggests even patient long-term investors see uncertainty ahead. The Seagull itself may never reach American shores in meaningful numbers, blocked by trade policy and political considerations. But the ideas it represents, simplified design, vertical integration, battery-first thinking, and aggressive pricing, are already reshaping the global automotive landscape. This $12,000 car proves that electric vehicles don't need to be expensive toys for wealthy early adopters. They can be practical, well-built transportation for everyone. That's the real threat to gasoline cars, not just in China, but everywhere. When electric becomes both better and cheaper, the transition becomes inevitable. The only question is whether American automakers will adapt fast enough to compete, or whether they'll find themselves selling yesterday's technology at tomorrow's prices while the world moves on without them.